All right, hold on just a second. Start in a minute. All right, y'all ready? And no, I'm not playing. Tennessee. I just forgot to change the title. So Lou Jr.'s here too. I just forgot to change the title. I'm playing South Carolina. I'm playing South Carolina this time. So, all right, y'all ready? We're gonna murder him though. All right, come on now. Nah, Gamecock.
Right. 3 simple words can get you ready for football.
Lou Jr.'s
the
going swimming.
Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. A great site for a game. Players are set
Bob
to go.
Stoops retired? Is that true?
It will be
Did that just happen? I hadn't heard that. Is that true?
That's going to wrap it up here in the studio, but we'll be here to keep.
Can y'all hear? Let me make sure you tell me if y'all can hear me or not, too.
Football throughout our game. But it's time for ESPN's college football. Brett Nessler and Kirk Herbstreit on the call.
Stoops retired. I can't believe that. Why?
The opening kickoff is finally here.
All right, come on, Godwin.
He's to the 10. And he's
That's not bad.
down.
Not bad. I'm not starting Uncle Lou. Uncle Lou's terrible. The stats are awful. I did that on purpose. His running is like 0. His jumping is 0. Because I had to make it realistic, and Uncle Lou's legs don't work that
let's
good.
See what the offense can do
Did he say why, John Patrick? Did Stoops say why he? What happened? I don't get it. I mean, isn't that out of the blue? I mean, I haven't heard anything about that.
He's to the 40. And it's
Go, Godwin.
Across midfield. They'll bring him down around the 39-yard line.
Right now, this quarterback, when he's calling play action, is doing a good
I'm
job
surprised.
of selling the run.
I don't know.
He's not
There's
taking
got to
his
be
hand
something
at
more to
all
that
with his
story.
play-action pass. He's doing a good job of selling the run fake, which is getting the defense out of position and making it much easier to throw the football.
Why would he retire? I hate Bob Stoops. All he does is cry about the SEC. I can't stand him, but I'm surprised he retired.
Ball on the 39-yard line.
That's weird to me. He's not that old, so why would he? I mean, it's, damn it. So basically, he just quit, is what that tells me, because he's not done coaching. He's in his 50s, isn't he?
From the 38-yard line, it's second down.
I can't believe that. Oh no! Luckily South Carolina sucks. That should have been an interception there. Man, that's crazy. I had not even heard any rumors or anything that he might even be retired. I can't believe that. The only news I've really been on today is that Ole Miss. Did he catch that? No. The only news I've really been on today is that Ole Miss news. I guess the NCAA released some more of that letter the allegation letter or whatever, but I hadn't heard nothing about Oklahoma.
So the officials taking a look at this play to see if the
I can't believe he's 56 years old. Yeah, that's what I thought. Now, why was that not a catch? Okay, his foot was on the line. So, okay, the referees, all right, well, they reviewed it anyway.
So after review, they decide that this call should be reversed.
They gave it to me. Oh, my God. Yeah, his foot was clearly on the line there, but I'll take it. Imagine Stoops, offensive coordinator of Alabama. I don't know if that would happen. I hope Saban wouldn't hire him as offensive coordinator after Bob Stoops has basically spent the last 4 years crying and whining nonstop about the SEC.
Right around the 22-yard line.
Gain of 1 on the play. That brings up 2nd and 9.
Something is just strange about this Bob Stoops. This is one of those things where you hear part of the story and you just know there's more to it, and I'm sure it'll come out at some point. But there's no way he just decided out of the blue, get in the end zone, boom, touchdown. Riley Ridley, suck on that, game nuts.
You can thank the play calling there. Very impressive. You know, if a quarterback has a strong arm, one of his favorite routes.
Hey, thanks, John. You're a Kentucky fan. Y'all should be pretty good this year. You got 2 really good running backs. I can't remember their names right now, but you got 2 good running backs. They combined for, 2,000 yards last year, right? I tell you what Kentucky really needs to do, I think, before they really can break out and try to contend for the East is finally get over the Florida hump. And I know as a Georgia fan, I'm not really much of one to talk about that. They've had our number most years too, but isn't it like 32, 33 years in a row, something like that Kentucky has lost to Florida? So I think Kentucky really needs to get over that hurdle before anybody's going to take them seriously about contending for the East. But I do think they'll have a pretty good team this year. South Carolina's going 2-10 this year. I think they're probably going to finish somewhere close to what they finished last year. Well, last year they were 6-6, lost the bowl game, so they ended up 6-7. I could see their regular season being 5-7, 6-6, or 7-5, and then depending on who they get matched up with in the bowl game. But I'm just not a believer in Will Muschamp. And he's going to have to prove, until I see him do it, he's going to have to prove me wrong. I mean, the guy had top 5 talent at Florida and went 4-8. So I mean, until he shows me he can do something, I just can't buy into South Carolina. I just can't do it. I think Jake Bentley is a decent quarterback. I mean, I'm not going to say he's great, NFL talent or anything like that, but I mean, he's pretty good.
And he's tackled at about the 35.
He seems pretty smart. So I mean, I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's going to be elite or anything like that, but I don't think, they're missing some pieces on defense. They don't have a whole lot on, offense. And they've got a terrible head coach, like I said, until he proves me otherwise. Can UJ get over the Tennessee hump next year? I wouldn't. Tennessee's not a hump to UJ. They beat us 2 years in a row, but we beat them 5 years in a row before that. So it's nothing like our struggles in the past with Florida or anything like that. But I do think we'll beat Tennessee this year. I think Tennessee takes a big step back this year. They're just their whole program was building towards last year, and it just imploded on them at the end with losses to South Carolina. And they gave up 70 points and 700 yards to Vanderbilt. Hurd is gone. Dobbs is gone. Kamara is gone. Their 3 best players on defense are gone. Whatever quarterback they go with is going to be brand new. Maybe not a true freshman, but no starts. And they have Butch Jones, and he's just terrible. It's just all there is to it. Did he catch that? He sure did.
That makes it 1st and 10.
I think South Carolina's better than Tennessee right now. I think Georgia's going 11-1. I could see 10-2. That's my goal is 10-2 and win the East. So if we go 10-2 but don't win the East, I won't necessarily be happy. If we go 9-3 and win the East, I can live with that. But I think 10-2 and win the East is a reasonable expectation for Georgia fans without people crying and saying, "Oh, Uncle Lou just always thinks they're winning the national title," which you've never heard me say that if you think about it. But I do think a realistic expectation for UJ would be 10-2. The schedule sets up good. We play Mississippi State from the West in Athens. They should be terrible. They have a decent quarterback, but that's it. In Auburn, we play every year. They'll be good, but we've had their number. We're 9-2 against Auburn in the last 11 years. The only 2 wins Auburn has against us has been the 2 years they made the national title game, and Auburn doesn't have a national title team this year, so UJ should beat them. That game's at Auburn, though, so that will be a tough one. Of course, the Florida game. The problem with going 10-2 for UGA, now this guy's got a week to throw the damn ball. Thank you, DeAndre Baker. Now, that's wrong direction, sir. The problem with going 10-2 is if we go 10-2, but one of those 2 losses is to Florida, then it's very possible Florida is also 10-2, and then they win the East on the tiebreaker. So I think UJ needs to beat Florida, and I think we could afford to lose 2 other games. I mean, obviously I don't want to, but I think we could afford to lose 2 other games at 10-2 and still win the East as long as one of those losses isn't to Florida. But we'll see. Lou, please win the East. I'm trying. I am really, really trying to win the East, sir.
It's 1st and 10.
UJ versus Gators will be a great game. I hope so. The last couple of years, our offense just hasn't been able to do anything down there. I mean, and that's not me overreacting or anything. I mean, we really have done absolutely nothing. Our defense has played good against Florida the last 2 years. I know they haven't had great offenses, but still, it's not like Florida has necessarily dominated us on both sides of the ball. Our offense has just been pitiful down there. Their offense hasn't been much better, but their defense was way better than ours. So hopefully it'll be a good game this year. What's up, sports and gaming? That's my cousin, I think. Parker. Terry Godwin. Yes, sir. The thing about Auburn is you never know what they're going to do. I mean, that's true, but the other thing about Auburn is this. They win a national title with Gene Chizik. They then implode the following year, and then they fire Gene Chizik. They promote the offensive coordinator, Gus Malzahn, who had no college experience at all. This guy was a high school PE teacher before he got hired on at Auburn as their offensive coordinator. And he's the one that came up with that rinky-dink, herky-jerk circus offense that they run down there. And yeah, when you had Cam Newton, you were scary good. But Cam Newton is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. I mean, most dual-threat quarterbacks are not dual-threat. They're single-threat. They can run. They can't throw. Cam Newton was both. Last year, Auburn played 11 quarterbacks. They all sucked. None of them are playing this year. They bring in some Big 12 garbage from Baylor, Jarrett Stidbaloney. And I'm not sold on him either. I mean, the guy only started 3 games at Baylor, and he got hurt in 2 of them. And that's against Big 12 defenses, which are terrible. So I just can't see I don't know. Auburn's defense will be good. I know that. They've got some decent wide receivers. I know that. Cameron Petaway, he is the real deal at running back. But, I mean, every year Auburn has a Heisman. God, South Carolina is terrible. That's 2 they should have just had. Every year it seems like Auburn is hyping up their quarterback as a Heisman winner, and every year the guy's the worst quarterback in the SEC. So, I mean, it's hard to know about Auburn. UJ will go 2-2 versus Notre Dame, Tennessee, Florida, and Auburn. 3-1 is possible. I don't know how. Yeah, the O-line is a question mark for sure. I think we're probably going to have a freshman starting on the offensive line this year, maybe even 2. Isaiah Wilson and Andrew Thomas. Isaiah Wilson and Andrew Thomas. Notre Dame, to me, is god-awful. I'll tell you right now, if we lose to Notre Dame, then you're definitely then you're right. We'll be lucky to go 2-2 because that means we're just not very good. Because Notre Dame is not very good. 4-8, lost their best player, their quarterback. They're breaking in a new quarterback. Brian Kelly's on the hot seat. He's sort of fizzled out there. Rudy was offsides. Touchdown Jesus is a backslider. You know, that's picked. Dominic Sanders. So if we can't beat Notre Dame, that's not a good sign for the rest of the year, in my opinion, because I just don't think they're any good. What was the other teams you named? Auburn, Florida. Oh, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Notre Dame. Of those two, I would say Tennessee and Notre Dame are the most likely wins. Florida and Auburn would be the likely losses.
First down, 10 yards to go. Ball on their own 13.
I think Tennessee fans are in for a rough year this year. Nick Saban is a Preds fan. I've tried to get into hockey in the past. I just really can't do it.
He's hit and taken down. That play was going nowhere.
Yeah, give a lot of credit
UJ will lose Florida again. Well, I mean, that's been the norm the last 25 years. I mean, I can't argue with you there. I think it's going to be a good game. Florida could be in trouble this year, though, if they don't get their offensive situation figured out, because they've been winning with nothing but defense since McElwain got there. McElwain's supposed to be some sort of offensive guru, some sort of offensive genius. And, I mean, even if you're a Florida fan, you have to just be realistic and say offensively McElwain has been a bust so far. He's done nothing down there offensively. And you've been riding really off of Muschamp's NFL defense that he built down there. And most of those people are gone. Now they finally picked one off now. Most of Muschamp's NFL defense has gone to the NFL now. So if y'all have a drop-off on defense this year, and McElwain's offense is still hot garbage like it has been, then Florida could be in for a rough year too. But Florida's got a really easy schedule this year because of that trick they pulled last year, pretending they couldn't play that game in a sprinkle storm with LSU and all that. So they kind of their schedule sets up good for them this year too. But I mean, it'll be a good game. It usually is. So. Lou, did you see Stoops? Yes, somebody mentioned that about Bob Stoops, Melon Daddy, at the beginning of the show, or the beginning of this video. I had not heard, and someone has since told me about it, but I can't believe that. I'm shocked. I hadn't heard that was coming. I hadn't heard rumors about that. Nothing. And I'm friends, not with a whole lot, but I'm friends with a few Oklahoma fans on Facebook. And I haven't seen or heard anything from them about it, or anything like that. So I mean, I was shocked, and then I knew, and then I don't understand. They say he's retiring, and then I had to ask somebody. I guess they looked it up, but he's 56 years old. So why is he retiring? Is it a health issue? Is he lying like Urban Meyer and not really retiring and just wants to get out of Oklahoma? Does he know something that's coming? You know, whatever that could be, sanctions or something to Oklahoma, which is again something I haven't heard anything about. The whole thing just sounds weird to me with Bob Stoops. So when I'm done with this video here, I'm gonna have to get on the internet and figure out what the heck's going on with that. See what I can find out for you people. Pick it off. Malcolm Parrish. We're going to take that one. Come on, go. Don't hawk me down at the 2-yard line. Dive. Woo! Look at that. Was that a 106-yard interception return? Dun, 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 dun. South Carolina sucks. Good morning. Bob Stoops wants to live life. Yeah, that's code for we don't know the whole story. Uncle Lou, I'm a Florida fan. I got a lot of respect for you. Year after year, you say you will beat us, even though you know it's a lie. Bath Salt City. I don't know it's a lie. Every year I believe it, sir. So it's not really a lie when I say that. Now, it turns out that I'm wrong. Now, not every year, because y'all have beaten us, 3 years in a row. So before that, I actually was right when I said it. But in any case, I wasn't lying. It just turned out that I was wrong. Vandy fans are super rare. I'm friends with a couple of Vandy fans on Facebook. Most of them are pretty good guys. Yeah, that's what I thought, Parker. What's up, buddy? Happy birthday, Parker.
Lining up to kick this one off.
Julian Ship, go Dogs. Yes, sir. Y'all see Rodrigo's name is Wild Thing on here. I had to do that. How about the Vols? I think the Vols will be lucky to make a bowl game this year, and I'm not talking trash. That's my honest opinion. I think they just lost way too much. I think they got rid of the wrong things and kept the wrong things. They scored more points than they've ever scored in school history and got rid of their offensive coordinator. They gave up the most points they've ever given up in school history and kept their defensive coordinator. Hurd is gone. Say what you want. You know, y'all dog Hurd because of what happened at the end of the year, which is fine. You know, that's your right to do that. The guy was like 200 yards away from breaking Tennessee's all-time rushing record. So he's the best running back you've ever had. So dog him out all you want because of what happened. And I don't blame y'all. Do the same thing. I mean, the guy's a quitter, plain and simple. So I'm not dogging you for that. I definitely would be doing the same thing. But you're not replacing Jalen Hurd. I mean, that's not happening. Then you say, well, we had Kamara. Kamara wasn't even as good as Hurd. But Kamara's gone too. And then you're talking about, oh, well, when John Kelly came in, he would. Well, listen. John Kelly or whatever the hell his name is not replacing Hurd and Kamara. It's not happening. Everyone good on your defense is either gone or still hurt from last year. I mean, you couldn't even have a spring game for God's sakes because you still have people left over hurt from last year. So, I mean, I really think Tennessee will be doing – ooh, eat him up. Trent Thompson, wasn't it?
I think could have done a better job with the free snap.
Boom.
Be able to see
Oh, no, that was Ledbetter.
That way he could have communicated and maybe
Jonathan Ledbetter.
protection up front.
I think LSU will beat Alabama in 2 or 3 years. You know, LSU's a hot pick this year, but you got to remember, Ed Orgeron has been a head coach before, and he was terrible. I don't mean bad. I mean terrible. Check his record at, what was it, Ole Miss. But every year LSU is loaded with talent and no quarterback, so we'll see what happens. But I will say this, as much as I hate Alabama, I'm not picking against Alabama to win the West ever again until Saban is gone. I'm not doing it. Now, will I be wrong eventually? Yeah. But I'll be right way more than I'm wrong with that pick. I'm not picking against Saban to win the West anymore. I'm not doing it. So my pick to win the West is Alabama until come on, Hardman. Get that corner, sir. My pick to win the West is Alabama until Saban's gone. I mean, you're banging your head against the wall picking against Alabama. And you know that Alabama FSU, I was just about to, Cody White, FSU versus Bama. Yeah. You know, Florida State's another team I hate. I'm not going to sit here and say Florida State's not any good. Ooh, nice little juke move, Hardman. Of course, Florida State is good, but listen to me right now. Southern Cal is good too, okay? Southern Cal finished 10-3 and ranked, I think, 4th or 5th. Ranked higher than FSU to end the year last year. Okay? And Alabama absolutely. Oh, no. Can't take a sack there easily. Alabama absolutely destroyed Southern Cal last year. What was it, 56-6 or something? And if you watch that game, it could have been 100-6. It really could. And I know Florida State is good, and Jimbo Fisher's a good coach, probably better than Skelton or whoever it is that's coaching Southern Cal now. FSU better watch out. Nick Saban with 6, 7, 8 months to prepare for a game, whatever it is, that's a dangerous situation for Florida State. And I know Florida State's talent-wise is, probably matches up with Alabama's as well or close to as well as anybody else out there. But that game could get ugly. Real talk. And there's no way I'm picking FSU to win that game. Again, I may turn out to be wrong. But when it comes to picking Alabama, I'm going to be right way more than I'm wrong. Come on, Easton. Let's hurry him up now, cuz. You got to get in the end zone, cuz. How you run an end zone route half a yard short of the end zone? My thoughts on Florida. DJ Productions wants to know, Lou, your thoughts on Florida getting Malik Zaire. Malik Zaire is terrible. He's thrown for less than 800 yards in his career at Notre Dame. Last year, Notre Dame was god-awful. They were 4-8.
Second down.
And whatever that quarterback's name was, I'm drawing a blank now. As bad as he was, they didn't put they didn't take him out and put Malik Zaire in. So what does that tell you? They were 4-8, and Malik Zaire still couldn't see the field. So, and I know he was getting over an injury and all that, but no, Malik Zaire is not the answer to Florida's problems, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to be that good. We saw something similar to this a couple of years ago when Florida State went out and got Jesus. I'm doing too much talking and not enough paying attention here. I'm just going to let this in and go to halftime now. Everett Golson came from Notre Dame to Florida State and hardly ever saw the field. And it wouldn't surprise me if you see something similar to that with Malik Zaire. I mean, Florida's got what are they? They've got Del Rio, Felipe, and Malik Zaire. So 2 illegal immigrants and a terrorist at quarterback. They're in trouble down there at the quarterback situation. And I talked about this a little while ago. I don't understand. Jim McElwain's supposed to be an offensive genius, some type of a guru. The guy's been down there, what is this, coming up on his 3rd year now? And he's had one of the worst offenses in the SEC every year he's been there now. Yeah, he's won the East, twice in a row. But let's be real. Defense won those games, plain and simple. Defense won the East, period. McElwain's not a defensive coach. So those were Muschamp's guys. That was Muschamp's defense, an NFL defense, most of which is gone and playing in the NFL now. So if the defense falls off at Florida and Jim McElwain can't figure out the offense situation down there, Florida could be in trouble this year. Philip Gaddy, Lou, do you think Hugh Freeze will get fired because of the NCAA investigation? I made a post on Facebook about this earlier. I don't understand how this man still has a job. It boggles the mind. Hugh Freeze, Hugh Freeze should have been fired already. But not only did they not fire him, they gave the clown an extension. I mean, it just, I don't understand. It makes no sense. I really don't know what they're doing there. But Ole Miss is going to get it, I think, hard. They've already self-imposed a bowl ban for this year and docked themselves 11 scholarships over the next 4 years. That's just not enough. The NCAA sent them a new letter out today. That's incomplete. No, I think they got a foot in. The NCAA sent them another letter out today with new allegations. The 11 scholarships over 4 years and 1-year bowl ban is not going to be enough. I think Hugh Freeze is going to become the first college football coach in history, active coach, to have to serve a suspension. If Ole Miss chooses to keep him, he's not going to be able to coach for some amount of time. I think the NCAA is going to suspend him. It wouldn't surprise me if they slapped him with a show cause order, which means basically he can't coach or be in the NCAA again or until someone has to basically write a letter saying why they think Hugh Freeze should be allowed to coach again. I mean, they were giving money away. They were fixing grades. That came out today. I can't remember exactly. I think it had something to do with exam scores for incoming freshmen or something. Anyway, so they played a ton of ineligible players from like 2010 to 2014. They're going to have to vacate a ton of wins over those 4 years. Hugh Freeze should be out of a job yesterday.
But the defense is just letting them maintain possession.
All right. We got it. Oh, no, I jumped off sides. Get him. Oh, no, I didn't go off sides. Oh, we got to hold him out of the end zone here. Not this year, Bubba. Ole Miss will not be better than the entire East this year. They're going to be a dumpster fire this year. Nice play. Who is better, Tennessee or Florida? That's a tough one for this coming up year. I think, Florida has the potential to be better for sure. I don't think Tennessee even has very much potential this year. If Florida get him, if Florida figures out the quarterback situation and the defense doesn't fall off the map, then Florida can be a legit contender for the East this year. You know, they can be as good as they have been the last couple of years. I don't think there's anything Tennessee can do to be even as good as they were last year, which was 8-4 and second in the East. They just lost too much. They were building and building and building towards last year, and they had the team set up to do it. They were loaded with seniors and NFL juniors, and they just completely dropped the ball. And they can blame it on injuries or whatever else. You know, listen, injuries happen to everybody. Did Tennessee get more than some other teams last year? Maybe. But, you know, there's probably teams that got more than Tennessee. I mean, that injuries are just the way it goes. But last year is over, so regardless of what happened last year, they just don't have the talent, I don't think, in my opinion, to win more than 7, maybe 8 games. 8 would be a miracle. If Tennessee went 8-4 this year, they should be happy. Of course, they won't. And if for some reason they don't make a bowl game, if they go 5-7, then Butch Jones is probably gone. Nice.
Slings it.
Come on, Miko. They can't catch this dude. They can't catch my dude, Miko. Woo!
This guy just continues to impress me.
Am I one of the people, SC Dog, for example, am I one of the people who thinks Chaney needs to go? I think it's too early to tell. Yeah, I'm in the too early camp. Obviously, I wasn't impressed or happy with what I saw last year. But I just don't know how much sense it makes to fire really anybody at any position after only 1 year, especially given what he had to work with, which was a true freshman quarterback. And let's just be real about it. A terrible offensive line. Now, that's not a complete excuse for Chaney last year. There were some very questionable play calls. You know, a lot of running the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, even though they weren't working time and time again. You know, so, you know, it's not like I'm ecstatic about what I saw at Chaney last year. I just don't know how fair it is to want to fire somebody after 1 year. And it's also not the best thing for QB development to be having different offensive coordinators year after year after year after year. It's just not. It seems to me that when Kirby decided to start Jacob Eason last year, that pretty much told me right there that there's at least a 3-year plan that involves Kirby, Eason, and Chaney. And I think Kirby has decided to roll his dice, to roll the dice with that. So I think it's highly unlikely even that Chaney would get fired this year. I just think they made up their mind that you know, this is what they have. They're going to roll with that. Get him. Yep, you got 8 up. So my prediction is that Chaney is not going anywhere for at least 3 years. And then we'll just have to see where we're at that point. I think a lot depends, too, maybe on what happens with this Justin Fields. I don't know how much y'all keep up with recruiting. I see somebody's asking about Zamir White, Tomahawk. Of course, Zamir White announcing on June 27th, his mom's birthday. It's down to pretty much Georgia, Ohio State, 1-2, Clemson and Alabama, 3-4.
Back to pass. He scrambled.
Get him. Oh, they fumbled. I think they got it back, though. So he's announcing on the 27th. Right now, I think we have a little bit over a 50% chance of getting him. But Justin Fields, everyone knows Trevor Lawrence, #1 quarterback in America, coming out in 2018. But he's pretty much dedicated to Clemson, so that's a no-go. Justin Fields, though, the #1 dual-threat quarterback, also from the state of Georgia, but he's been committed to Penn State forever and a day. Well, yesterday he decommitted from Penn State, opened his recruitment back up, and from what I'm hearing, it's down to Georgia, Florida, Florida State, and Auburn at this point. And I guess you could throw Penn State in there, too. A lot of times they'll uncommit from these teams and then commit right back to them at some point in the future. But he's a dual-threat quarterback. So if we were to go that route, then I'm not sure what that would mean for Chaney. I know he doesn't have a lot of experience running with a dual-threat quarterback or running that type of offense. But then I also heard that Chaney and Kirby have been working ever since last year when Kirby first hired Chaney they've been working on a
From their own 41-yard
dual
line. First down.
dual threat playbook. So is that true or not? I don't know. But anyway, that's just sort of my rambling thought. Oh, just when you thought he was out, they pull you back in. The Chubb train. Doot, doot. You know, you can go the whole game. That's what I, you know, those are the Chubb 3 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 40 yards. I love it. Y'all want me to put some of the scrubs in so y'all can see somebody different? You let me know. If you want, I can put Jake Fromm in at quarterback. I can put Holyfield or Harrion in at running back. I have me in here as third string. I can put Uncle Lou in at quarterback, but the stats are in the toilet on me. But SEC West better than SEC East. Thank you, Bubba. Captain Obvious there. Water's also wet, just so you know. Your Longhorns are killing it in recruiting. Well, you're going to have to show something on the field. Going to be a job opening there soon, probably. Again. Oh, you threw it right to the other team, Eason. What are you doing? Yeah, Chubb's the best running back in the SEC. If he's 100% healthy. And there's no debating that. If Mark Richt wins a championship with Miami, would you be pissed? No more pissed than I am anytime somebody wins a title that's not UGA, but I wouldn't be specifically pissed just because it was Mark Richt or Miami. He means nothing. He's gone. He's from there, he played there, and he coaches there. Kane for life. Are you concerned about our slow start to the 18 class? I was very concerned about it. It has picked up a little in the last couple of days. We got a couple of commits this week. You know, if we can somehow land Zamir White, Zeus, that Jamari Salyer, that 5-star offensive guard, and one more 5-star, whether that be Justin Fields or someone else, and then fill in with some 3- and 4-star and key pieces, and we'll still finish with a top 10 class, and I'll be happy. But it is weird to look at the recruiting rankings and see Georgia ranked in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's been a long time since I've seen that as a Georgia fan. And you just have to be realistic. You know, a lot of Georgia fans will say, well, we you know, still a lot of people that are uncommitted and yada, yada. Yeah, that's true. But if you were to list, like, UGA's top 20 targets in the 2018 class 2 years ago, right? Like, when you first started looking at the 2018 kids, if you would have listed Georgia's, like, top 20 targets, 15 or 16 of those guys are gone already. They're committed elsewhere. They're not coming to UGA. So there's not really a positive way to spin it at this point. You just kind of have to hope we can close out strong with a couple of the big names that are left out there. And then, you know, maybe Kirby and the guys can find a couple of diamonds in the rough type things, some you know, some 3 or 4 stars that are maybe underrated. And, of course, a couple of 5 stars. I named a few. That's sort of my thoughts on that. Whenever anyone asks me about Nick Chubb, is he the best running back in the SEC? And I just remind you, you go back to 2 years ago before he hurt his knee. Okay, the guy had rushed for over 100 yards in like 13 straight games, an SEC record. He was averaging almost 8 yards a carry. Now, this isn't 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. This was over a 14-game period. So the guy was averaging almost 8 yards a carry. 5 seconds before he blew his knee out against Tennessee, he was the betting favorite to win the Heisman that year. That was the year. What? Oh, my God. He was the betting favorite to win the Heisman that year. So, yes, he's the best running back in the SEC. And if he's 100% healthy this year, he could break some serious records. This is kind of hard to believe about Nick Chubb. And I had to look into it to even believe this myself.
Awesome extension to make the grab.
Nick Chubb is 1,000 yards away from being the 3rd leading rusher in SEC history. I mean, that's nothing to scoff at. I mean, you're talking about some big name running backs coming out of the SEC. I don't have to name them. And if he somehow were to get 1,800 yards this year, which I don't see happening, mainly because of Sony Michel, but he's only 1,800 yards away from breaking Herschel's all-time rushing record in the SEC. Yes, I know Herschel did it in 3 years, but most of the people on this list did it in 4. And you have to remember, Chubb's first year, he played behind Todd Gurley. His second year, he blew his knee out 5 weeks into the season and didn't play the rest of the year. Last year, his third year, he was playing at about 75% and missed time again with injury. All those things, and still only 1,000 yards away from being the third leading rusher in SEC history. I think he's currently 13th or 14th, but he's only 1,000 yards away, and he'll get 1,000 yards. You know, no question about it. I don't think he'll get the 1,800 to break Herschel's record. I don't see that happening with the way this season is going to set up and the players that we have. You know, Sony Michel is going to demand a lot of carries too. He's an NFL running back. We play probably at least 4 running. We may play 5 running backs this year. If you throw Swift into the mix, you know, Chubb, Michel, Harrigan, Holyfield, and Swift. So it's going to be hard for anybody to get 1,800 when you've got that many running backs getting playing time at UGA. But he's easily going to get the 1,000 and become, at minimum, the third leading rusher in SEC history. So, yes, Nick Chubb is the best running back in the SEC. And don't let anybody tell you that he's not. That's not me being a homer. Man, I can't cover these receivers. I'm starting to get irritated is what's happening here. I'm going to have to start blitzing. I usually don't blitz, but it's just starting to irritate me now. Why are they running the ball? This is why South Carolina is South Carolina, because they do South Carolina things. You guys are losing by 4 touchdowns with 3 minutes to go in the game.
He might change the play here before the snap.
And you're running the ball again. You'll say, oh, well, we got a first down. That's not the point. The point is you're stupid. As soon as I start saying something, they get a damn touchdown. All right, I'll put me in. Philip Gaddy. I'll put me in. Nick Chubb's going to get injured again. Thanks, Anthony Mers. That's probably the most asshole thing you could say. How do I think, Baseball King, how do you think UJ will do this year? If I had to bet right now, I would bet on 10-2 and win the East. Bama. Bama versus FSU. Bama all day long. Bama with 8 months to prepare. Bama beat Southern Cal by 50 points last year, week 1. And Southern Cal is a good team, 10-3.
He's sitting back there and has so much confidence reading the defenses. They've got to do something, whether it's a blitz, zone pressure, whatever it might be, to try to get him out of rhythm.
Now I give South Carolina the ball and his stupid onside kick now. Y'all got me doing too much talking. Lou, who are your 4 playoff teams going into the season? I don't usually do that. And if I do it, okay, so like I'll do it now. I'm completely excluding UGA from the conversation, though. I'm basically pretending UGA doesn't even exist when I give you these 4 teams. That doesn't mean I think UGA is making the playoff. That just means I'm pretending they don't exist. I just don't like, because I don't really like doing this. So I'm going to say Southern Cal, Florida State.
Quick strike to the receiver. Brought down.
Ohio State.
The pass was a little bit high, but this kid
and
had
Alabama.
no trouble adjusting and making a great play.
Alabama, Southern Cal, Florida State, Ohio State. Ooh, that'll work.
He stripped the ball right out of his hand.
That will work.
Better leverage there, and he just yanked the ball
Lou and
out.
Vol Daddy go head to head. Me and Vol Daddy have had some good debates back and forth. I used to do he used to have a radio show. I used to have a radio show. We used to call into each other's show and argue like cats and dogs. But I like Vol Daddy. I like BBD. He's a good guy. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I've talked to him on the phone a few times. He's a good guy. All right, let's make some substitutions here. What am I looking for? Strategy. Depth chart. Y'all want me to put Uncle Lou in? Look at these stats, though. Wait till you see these stats, though. Well, first of all, the 99 right there, 99 awareness, that's because I'm super smart. But if you notice, everything else is super low. Like, really low. Look, jumping, 0. Even throwing power and throwing accuracy is only 70. See? I mean, I'm terrible, but we'll do it. Who's in the running for Zamir White besides UGA? Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama.
The offense will take over.
One thing I can do, though, Uncle Lou can in this game,
Less than
hand the
3
ball
minutes
off
in
to
the
Nick
game.
Chubb. Yeah, I think Clemson's still going to be really good this year because they're just loaded on both sides of the ball. But Deshaun Watson's not someone that can be replaced. He can't. I don't care how good any of the quarterbacks Clemson has on the roster is.
2nd and 6.
Deshaun Watson's just not somebody you can replace. Look at Cam Newton in Auburn. Tim Tebow at Florida. I mean, you're talking about that kind of once-in-a-generation talent, that a team might get once every 20 years or so. They're not replacing that. Yeah, this is 13. I have 14 somewhere, but I can't find it.
1st and 10. Ball on the 39-yard line.
So, yeah, this is NCAA 13. All right, Sony Michel's in the game now. See what he's doing. See what he's about. About nothing but a 6-yard gain. You want to see Lou throw a pass?
That'll make it 2nd and 4.
No, DeAndre Swift's good, but DeAndre Swift won't be better than who? Chubb and Michelle? I would agree with that right now. I don't.
So it's 2nd
I'm
down.
not.
They need
I would
about
never
4
pick
yards to
any
pick up the first.
running back to be better than 2 running backs I know for sure have made the NFL in Chubb and Michelle. Lou 1 for 1. Lou 1 for 1 passing.
Around the 26-yard line. Ridley gained 7 yards with a
Colin Thompson, do you think we got a chance versus Bama in the SEC championship game? Bama would be favored for sure, but the thing is, that's why my goal every year is to win the East, because when you get to Atlanta, you roll the dice and you see what happens. Could UGA beat Bama? Of course they could. That wouldn't be the strangest thing that's ever happened, but. And that's the good thing about being in the SEC when it's so strong like it is now. You don't really have to have a goal of winning the SEC. If you just set your goal at winning the division, if UGA can just win the East, then we're one game away from most likely going to the college football playoff, because it's going to be extremely hard for the committee to leave an SEC team out, even if we were 10-2. I think if Georgia was 10-2 and beat an undefeated or an 11-1 Alabama game in the SEC championship game, then I 100% would expect the playoff committee to put UGA in the playoff. What are you doing, Lou?
And they couldn't hook up on that one.
See, you led him too far, Lou. You suck, Lou. You suck, Lou.
It's 4th down, and the offense is getting set to go for it.
UGA can't win the East. Always will be cursed. Are you 3 years old? The person that wrote that, are you 3 years old? The only reason I ask is because UGA actually did win the East. Several times, in fact, since the last time Tennessee has won the East. So don't start that shit with me. Tennessee has not won the East in 10 years. Tennessee has not won the SEC in 20 years. Tennessee has not won the Sugar Bowl in 27 years. Tennessee has a 3-18 record the last 7 years against their biggest three rivals, Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. The last time Tennessee won the SEC, Bill Clinton was in office. Tennessee is the Monica Lewinsky of the SEC. So whoever wrote that about Georgia not being able to win the East, do like Monica Lewinsky. Get on your knees and suck it. Find a way to deal with it.
10 yards to go. Ball on the 22. Looks to pass. And he's tackled right away. South Carolina is going to
Georgia sucks, right? Yeah, okay. Well, Georgia's won the SEC twice since the last time you won it, sir. You haven't won the conference this century. Okay? Think about that. You have not won your conference since last century. Okay? I mean, Tennessee is pathetic. Tennessee has more coaches the last 10 years than they do wins over UGA. Watch Mizzou beat you. Hey, Vandy just scored again on Tennessee. How do you give up 700 yards of offense to Vanderbilt? Nice. Nice. That's 6 points. Take that to the house, Malcolm. Malcolm Parrish. Yes, sir. We have billions of more accolades than UGA. This guy has got to be 15 or younger. That's my guess. 15 or younger, this guy. Oh, Kalu and Shai were hurt. Everyone's hurt at the end of the year, dumbass. It's SEC football. Quit your crying. Put your big boy panties on. Hire a strength and conditioning coach. This guy's out of his mind.
They line up to kick this one away.
I see nobody want to talk about Uncle Lou throwing touchdown passes here, too. Uncle Lou played the nerds. I mean, yeah, losing to Georgia Tech is sad. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. But, I mean, the thing is,
He's to the 10.
Georgia Tech beats us about once every 5 years. So last year was a good year for Georgia Tech to beat us because the game didn't mean anything to UGA. We were eliminated from the East. We weren't going to make a decent bowl game. You know, when you really don't want to lose to Georgia Tech is when you've won the East. Right, you have a chance to win the SEC and then make the 4-team playoff. But you play Georgia Tech. Now they beat you in that year, then that's bad. But I mean, Georgia Tech's beat us, I think, 3 times this century. I'm not worried about Georgia Tech
He drops to throw on first
at all.
down.
Oh my God, look at this
Gets
now.
it. He's in space to the 10, and he's all the way in for the touchdown.
Well, that'll give him something positive to end
Easton will be the best QB in the country this year. Well, I don't know about that, but the thing is, he doesn't have to be. He just needs to be a little bit better than he was last year, and he will. There's no reason he won't. He was a true freshman last year, and he threw for 2,500 yards. He had twice as many touchdowns as he did interceptions. He had a higher completion percentage than Matthew Stafford did his freshman year. I mean, he broke all Stafford's records: more yards, more touchdowns, less interceptions, higher completion percentage. So, you know, he doesn't need to be the best quarterback in the country next year. He just needs to be a little bit better than he was last year. The receivers need to catch the ball. Offensive line needs to play a little bit better. And the defense just needs to keep doing what they're doing. I mean, we had a top 15 defense. Georgia Tech will kick Tennessee's ass. That'll be a good game, Georgia Tech and Tennessee. That'll be a good game. The bad news for Georgia Tech is one of the things that always works in Georgia Tech's favor is teams don't get a lot of opportunity to prepare for that type of offense. The triple option, because let's just be real, no one runs that anymore. What was Uncle Lou here? 3 for 7. That's not too bad. Easton 13 of 18. That's not too bad. Teams don't play Georgia Tech's offense except when they play Georgia Tech. So if you catch Georgia Tech in the middle of the season when teams only have 1 week to prepare for them, that's when Georgia Tech can sneak up on people. But with all summer to prepare for Georgia Tech's 1980s offense, I would be surprised if Tennessee didn't win that game. But the good news for me is I win either way. If Tennessee loses, hey, that's great. If Georgia Tech loses, that's great too. So it's just a win-win situation for me. All right, well that's it. I'm gonna end it. Thanks for watching. I'll do some more of these every once in a while. We'll just see how they go. But anyway,